as we get...
Look, I mean, sometimes safety is the best option as well, especially if you're just trying to hold your own. Like you said, about Shaman holding his own in top. If he's on Ziggs duty, Nicoya can hold his own in bot, and then they can really just, you know, you can send Queen and you can send Drakov into the mid lane to really hold Kyose's hand if he ever needs it. So, look, I mean, we're into the draft now. It's go time.
We can see as well these 4 bans have come out now because Kayose, if you're unaware, because Kayose has some tier 4 players, 4 tier 4 players, he has allowed 4 extra bans which have been used on Zed, Irelia, Xin Zhao, and a Vi. I'm sure you can see what's going on there, Dodd. We've got junglers and mid laners.
Yeah,
and we start off with the Wukong as well. The Super Asian. He's going to have a rough time. A lot of his picks are taken out.
Yeah, he's getting focused down at the moment, and it hasn't even started in the game. So, yeah, man, he's going to have to really dig deep and into this champ pool or champion ocean and see what he can pull out and see if it's still going to be good enough to really go up against Drakov.
Absolutely, and Team CAPYBARA seem to be aware at least of Team SIREN's game plan here, getting rid of that signature Syndra, as we talked about. We can't allow him on a carry pick such as that, as we also take out the comfort pick of Ornn. So Shanman doesn't have Ornn, but now Willy Wonka doesn't have that Fiora. Now, Willy Wonka's Fiora, I mean...
Yeah, looks like the team done a bit of research here. Yep.
Absolutely.
And look, I mean, if they can... the thing with Kyose is he's a bit of a freak. The man can just play everything so well. So, I mean, I don't even know if you can really ban him out. I've seen this guy climb to Challenger playing Blitzcrank mid and Leona mid. So, I don't know what we're going to see today, but it's going to be interesting. Oh, we see the Ambessa.
Woo! I love an Ambessa lock-in. So much movement, so much outplay potential. And the good thing is, something we've seen a lot throughout this tournament is these flex picks. That could be potentially an Ambessa jungle as we get an Aatrox lock-in top.
Holy.
Right.
Hey, unless the Super Asian is pulling out the Aatrox jungle. I've seen it.
Yep.
I don't know if I've seen him play it, but hey.
It's not terrible. It's certainly not terrible. I myself am not a huge fan of it. As we get a Zoe lock-in.
Wow,
could that
that's going to be exciting.
Zoe or a mid lane Zoe, do you think?
I'm going to say it's mid Zoe, unless it's mid Bard, which, who knows?
Honestly, with Team Siren, anything is possible, but that's going to be Kayose on Zoe, which is really good. That is the type of high damage pick, you know, the potential that we need from Kayose to help push this Team Siren into the throes as we get a big Nautilus lock-in. Muchi on the Nautilus, landing those dredges. Can he do it? We'll see, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess the thing with Zoe is such a big pick, and if he can get ahead, you know, if Kyosa can get ahead on the Zoe pick, he can really just be an absolute menace. You know, walking bot, walking top into the jungle with Drakov, really just trying to pin down the Super Asian on his camps if they can. I was gonna say it's awesome to see Shaman on the Ambessa if it is Shaman top.
Ambessa
top.
Take a look at CAPYBARA. What have they just done? They've banned Sion, which must mean it must they at least think it is an Ambessa jungle, without a doubt, if they're still banning top champs.
And we see the Draven taken away from Clown, one of his signature picks. He's a bit of a racist Draven, but I don't know if he's racist himself, but his Draven tends to be. So they're really taking that one off the table.
Stereotypical, of course, for the Draven players out there. They've got to fit the bill, really.
I think it's compulsory.
It is. They do 10% extra damage, of course, if you sort of type anything in all chat. We won't be really getting a with so much lockdown, so much CC already on Team CAPYBARA. It's going to be hard to see what type of ADC Nicoya wants to pull out here, if not something very safe. We talked about that Ziggs duty, and I hate to say that it's looking like it would be good here, but a Ziggs honestly would fit the bill of just being able to backline. But then you're going to need a very either a tanky top, wherever this Ambessa goes, a very tanky top or a very tanky jungle.
Yeah, well, it looks like CAPYBARA are pretty sure that it's going to be Ambessa jungle, given they banned away the Yorick as well. Unless they're just shouting you out, mate, and they're just trying to get rid of Hello's Yorick. Who knows? Yeah.
Hello's
looming Yorick. You never know. Rumble.
Rumble support potentially, Dodd. Rumble support, would that be?
The shout out. Could be Rumble in the jungle, maybe. Flick with the skin.
Yes. Nah, I mean, I only ever really knew BBP could play a very mean Rumble jungle. Yes. Potentially Honeypack could also emulate, but there's that tanky front line. Wow.
Perfect.
A Mundo. But the thing is here, Dodd, still both so flexible. We've seen Mundo jungle. We've seen Ambessa jungle. It's up to anyone where this actually goes, all things considered. It's the final lock-ins. What are we looking for? An Ashe. Nakoya Ashe. That's going to be very interesting.
Like...
That's going to be a lot of CC added to this comp now with the Bard stuns, the bubbles, and the public execution.
The virus pick coming in.
You play more support than me, Dot, in terms of bot lane. What do you think? Which bot lane comes out on top here? What's your knowledge speak to you here? Who's got a bit of a stronger bot?
Look, I think it's really going to be depending on who hits what. Obviously, I mean, with the virus and Nautilus, if you get hit by the hook or you're getting hit by the virus ult, you're in trouble. But if they miss, and you know, hey, you're trying to run away from Bard, good luck. That champ is fucking annoying. And same with Ashe. You know, you've got the Ashe volley, the slowing on the auto attacks, queued up the Bard. I mean, you don't want to get into a fight and then try to run away with your tail between layers because you're not going to get out nicely. So look, it could go either way. It's going to be interesting to see if Mewtwo can really hit those hooks.
And yeah, I guess it'll depend if Nakoya wants to take cleanse here, because that will be very important for those chains of corruption. Yep. But I also want to point out that Team Siren's comp, very long range actually. You've got the catch up from the Ashe, the Enchanted Arrow, of course, but then you also have the Sleepy Time Bubble, you've got the public execution with Dracov, and you have the Barda. We have a lot of long range potential. As we get into game one, we'll see if it is possible to get these in this team fight.
A little bit of level 1 shenaniganery. Kyose missing his first Q, but I guess we won't hold that against him.
Hopefully that doesn't stay the same for the game, but take a look at Kyose's summoner spells. That's an Ignite Flash Zoe mid. What do you think about that?
I mean, look, I mean, he wants to get ahead early because Victor's going to outscale in the end. You know, if Victor's able to scale up and really pull through those early levels, then look, it's going to be tough. But Victor is also a very good skirmisher. So Kyose having that Ignite is going to help out in that 2v2 early if they do end up in that scenario.
Absolutely, and I think we can see it's pretty interesting in the bot lane in terms of summoners. Clown has gone for the cleanse, of course, needed into the Ashe, but Nakoya has just chosen the barrier. So if any of this CC chain that you were talking about regards to the Nautilus and the Varus ult, if that lands with such a squishy sort of comp, they're going to be in trouble. Team Siren is really going to be in trouble, at least in these late game team fights if someone missteps.
Yeah, maybe Nakoya's really banking on the Bard ults coming through later on. You know, I'm waiting to see some magical Bard ults really just coming in clutch and saving the day.
Certainly, we've seen a couple really good Bard ults throughout this tournament. Do you think we'll get much action top lane, though? With this Mundo Rumble, as a top laner player, it's a very strange matchup. Rumble, huge bully, and I love to see Willy Wonka on it. If anyone's going to get ahead, it's going to be him. But Mundo actually can play so back from range with these briefcases just farming. There's a bit of a clock. There is a bit of a clock on both teams. You've got the Victor scaling, and you have the late game potential. Let's look at this level 2.
Bit of an early fight, but I don't know if Willy Wonka's really come out on top on that one.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe
Mundo, such a strong champion. Half and half, and the regen on Mundo is a little bit higher, especially in this early game. Gonna be hard.
And interestingly enough, I mean, I think, look, if Mundo can't stay up and can't really, you know, stay even, I do feel like Team Siren lacks a bit of damage. You know, there's a lot of damage coming out of the Rumble, the Victor, the Aatrox, the Virus, but you know, if you're not hitting your spells as Zoe, you know, if you're not hitting that sleep, you know, you can be lacking on the damage. Same with Ashe. You know, Ashe is very much more on that utility side with the arrow, and Mundo would be in the tank. But it's going to be interesting to see if they can really cut through Team Capybara as well.
Absolutely. You know, there is a lot of health to get through with the Aatrox, the Super Aatrox, with all that sustain, and you also have the Rumble, which, you know, he's got the shield, big Nautilus as well. I do agree there is. If Dracov or Kyosi don't get ahead, especially in this early game, they will find themselves lacking in damage late game, which they've got so much access to so much utility. But as we've seen in earlier games, utility isn't everything. You really do just need, sometimes you need a Bork, sometimes you need an IE to do what you need to do on some of these picks.
Yeah, well, we're going to see the picks coming through, right? We've got the Ashe Arrow, we've got the Sleepy Bubble Trouble. They got to go for this long range pick. Like you were saying, you got the Ambassador ult as well. Nothing too much happening right now, though. The jungler's just done their full clears, and Draco's looking towards his top side, though.
Yeah, we've got a, you know, it's a very sort of peaceful start. Both scuttles, or one scuttle going over to each other jungler, and we've seen this playstyle before from the Super Asian. He does go for a very full clear orientated play, and it didn't work out amazingly for him in that sort of the other game he played. And I'm wondering if maybe his strategy has changed, or it might work well this time, because Drakov similarly is playing for that full clear playstyle on that Abessa, wanting to get to 6 as quick as possible so we can start getting these long range picks. Yeah, exactly. And I think, one of the other things that we might have to consider is this is an elimination match for both these teams. There might be a bit of nerves. They're more thinking, I don't want to fuck up, I don't want to be the reason we lose, compared to how do I win this lane? As the Sleepy Time bubble goes, and the double stun on both sides here. An Ignite has been popped from Kaiose onto Jupiter here, and not enough. The potion healing him up just enough to survive. With no Ignite, Kaiose is down the summoner spells, but TP was having to be used earlier by the Victor. So we go even for now, as a very large wave is lost. Going to be expensive for this Victor. We can already see a CS lead, pretty hefty CS lead in the mid lane, as both mid laners have opted to go for the Dark Seal as well, as Willy Wonka has also chosen for the Dark Seal.
Of course,
man, after my own heart. I love it. They get ahead. I mean,
it's more of a mental game, surely, right? If you don't buy the Dark Seal, you're the bitch in the lane, right? You just get, you've already told them you don't want to win. You can't be expecting McKinnon to not come out with the Dark Seal.
The hook does land from Muchi onto that Bard there, and such a heavy trade, but Clown is completely out of mana, even with the Super Asian hovering here. Drakov as well, the Super Asian cancelling his back. Drakov gets in that bush, no vision with that control ward.
Now, was the Super Asian in the bush then? I don't know if he was. And then he moved? One of the interesting things to note as well is Clown's opted for the Comet build here. So, I mean, he's probably not thinking he's going to be able to auto too much and win the trades, but just allows to be, like, Comet Virus is really fucking annoying, to be honest, I mean... Would you
have a preference over, Lethality Virus, as a huge fight goes on top? Willy Wonka popping the ult and solo killing Chan Man with the first blood of the game. 2 stacks on that Dark Seal.
Yeah, look, and we're going to see a big disparity come out here. We already see the TP's been used by Shaman. He's going to lose 2, maybe 3 waves here. Or at least, coming up on that. So, and he's already down 20 CS. So, I mean, there's a big disparity there right now.
Yeah, and with a champion like Mundo, as the Arcane Storm comes out in the mid lane, not enough mana for this mid laner to follow, for this Victor to follow up on, but pushes him off the wave and can recapture a little bit of CS. Because the Mundo getting behind early is pretty disastrous. It's going to be really hard for him to scale, as Kaiose does bubble in. The bubble goes wide, catches the first, flashes first, and then catches the Victor flash, and that is going to be both summoners used. But Kaiose on devastatingly low health, and even those Bard healing is not going to be enough. He's forced to reset. But yeah, that Mundo getting behind, it's going to be really hard. And we've already seen, once Willy Wonka gets a lead, he does not stop pressuring. It's so hard for something like a scaling top laner to breathe once he gets a little bit of gold in his pocket from kills.
On the other side, that Rumble matchup is tricky because he gets to with that Leandris for free. It's part of his normal build part. So he's going to be happy as Larry building that into Mundo, as we see the Super Asian walking top as well.
Yeah, have you noticed this? No ganks yet from either jungler here as we hit the 8-minute mark in the game. Peaceful, very peaceful. A 1 kill in 8 minutes, honestly, for this tournament is a bit rare. And we brushed over it before. What do you think about Lethality Varus over on Hit Varus? Especially in a comp like this.
I think it is very game dependent. I think in this game, hold on, we might see a bit of action coming through mid. Kioski's got the double health back from the Bard and the pink ward. He should be safe enough. Look, I think it is game dependent, right? Are you able to hit auto attacks? Can you auto for long enough to make sure that lethality, lethal tempo is worth it? Probably not in this game, right? So I think opting for that Comet and opting for the bit of lethality is probably the way to go.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. I think once you can get that Manamune online as well as... Damn, look at this trade. Shaman just under tower, barely struggling to get some CS, and this wave is going to be big, and with that ult available, Willy Wonka can absolutely look for a dive. Draco, I don't know if he's been spotted bot side, but he is bot side, so who can help Shanman out here? The ult goes down, the E does hit. Shanman forced to ult, but it's not going to be enough to save him, and that's a successful dive from Willy Wonka.
The equalizer was so good there from Willy Wonka, and unfortunately for Shaman, he even used his ghost and his ult there. Well, it was his gold, but Look, he's going to come back to lane even sadder than what he is, and he's losing another bunch of creeps, and he's going to be down 2 levels on. Yeah, he's down 2 levels now, and I don't know if he's going to be able to come back from that one. It's going to be a tricky one.
Yeah, and the added bonus of Willy Wonka taking, I believe, 2 plates there. Yes, the time bubble going a bit wide, but the added bonus of Willy Wonka taking 2 plates there, getting that Haunting Guise and the Faded Ashes now with 4 stacks on the Dark Seal. He is certainly looking well in the position to take over this game if need be.
Yep.
With this sort of lack of ganking, as the bubble does land, the sleep goes through, and the Paddle Star a kill. The Super Asian online seems to be.
He did nothing in the gank, but he was there in support. It looks like they just won the solo 2v2.
Yeah, and that's going to be feats of strength going over to the side of Team Capybara here. Didn't really get a good idea of what happened. The dredge line hitting onto this, but as you mentioned, that Arcane Comet, unlike the lethal tempo, while it does a big chunk, it's not enough for these extended trade. Enchanted Arrow, the long shot, not landing. Jacob's here to collect the wave though.
Happy and best to picking up a few creeps there. This matchup looks hellish now.
Yeah,
it just looks hellish.
So grim. 20 CS down.
Yeah.
All you've got is the Giant's Belt and the Crystalline Bracer. It's certainly... we're going to need Dracov to play a little bit topside. Drakov's played a more... specifically, as we can see his items, he's going for that Cyclo Sword here. He's playing a slow farming game.
Yep.
And, we talked about in the draft how we needed to get Kaiyosi ahead, how we needed to potentially focus our minds or focus our efforts on Kaiyosi. There hasn't been a huge amount of ganks. We haven't really seen Bard do the signature Bard ability of roaming much, to be honest.
Yep. And that's potentially, he feels like he needs to babysit Ashe because we don't have Nicoya on the Ziggs. We've got Nicoya on Ashe. Pretty vulnerable, pretty immobile. No cleanse, like you mentioned, and it's tough. One of the things we didn't really cover off though is Siren did get the dragon. They got first drag when Shaman got taken out by that dive.
Popped just for the move speed, but a beautiful dodge from Nicoya.
We're gonna need to check that guy's PC real quick. Vanguard might be coming up soon. Holy shit.
Was a wonderful little sidestep there,
solo
and
kill
a
in the
kill.
mid-lane.
Look, as we were saying, finally, Jakov understands what he has to do. We have gone and we've got Kaiyosi ahead, and getting Kaiyosi a kill. Oh no, Todd! Oh dear. Take a look. We haven't really been paying much attention. A 40 CS lead has been collected. Willy Wonka was forced to use that equalizer ult, but the lead he has now with this Leandri's item, just 2 ticks on the Q, taking out almost a quarter of Shaman's health.
It's just unplayable. It's unplayable. This guy can't step up to the wave. He's really just, and this is what we talked about in Champ Select as well, Kaiyosi is going to be probably getting ahead, and the other sides are going to be probably falling behind. And we're seeing that 50 CS lead come through for Luonka, and the 20 CS lead come through for Clown here.
Yeah, I'm really interested to, I would love to know the thought process behind Team Siren for this Bard pick. We haven't really seen many roams. We haven't seen any crazy plays towards mid lane. And it's good that we've started to get the steam train rolling with Drakov getting into that mid lane as we get a bit of a replay now. Look at this. Nicoya sidestep. 1, 2, dredge line. Perfect dodge. Oh my God. And
Immaculate.
If you notice, Bard there did the heal to the right side of the Nort Hill. He suspected Nicoya was going to dodge it, just as he did. They're in perfect harmony here. Kaiyosi here with the exhaust. Sleepy Time Bubble going out, and the Drowsy going through. He's picked up a Ravenous Hydra. So much damage onto this mid laner.
This is what I was talking about earlier in terms of having that early, the ignite onto the Zoe.
As a flash to collect the solo kill. This is what we need to do. Willy Wonka is here, and so is Nort, but Drakov hovering. We got to keep Kaiyosi alive. He's our game plan here.
Yeah.
Although, take a look. The Super Asian in now. Bolt is popped. Demonic
Big equalizer coming through from Willy Wonka.
The equalizer going out as a Bard hits the double golden. Drakov is going down. They're going to be forced to retreat out of this fight. The Sleepy Time Bubble does land on Willy Wonka, and it's a huge chunk of damage. But cooldowns are down for Kaiyosi. Bard is forced to magical journey away. The Super Asian taken down, but Kaiyosi isn't done. The bubble goes a tiny bit wide. Nicoya is here. If an Ashe W can slow some of these, flashing out. Willy Wonka getting even lower, but Muchi wants a bit of smoke here. Looking for the dredge line, doesn't land. We're finally backing off.
And we're seeing that Zoe really start to be an absolute menace. You get a bit of a lead on that champ, and it is hard to pin you down, especially if you can just, you get these free bubbles when you get the opportunity. And that if you hit the bubble, you can do a lot of damage to pretty much everyone on that team right now. No one's picked up the Merc Treads, so there's a lot of damage coming through from Kiyose at this point.
Take a look at this little solo here. Just a perfect lineup flash. And we do get Willy Wonka come down, but it doesn't go that well. I spoke like, what's the point of this Bard? But it bought so much time that we could get enough poke chip damage. The moment that Kiyose lands this bubble on Wonka there, it's so much damage that they are forced to get out. And he was doing all of that with no item. Now he's picked up that Ludens. We're going to get a bigger increase in damage now.
Yeah, and we do have the Dragons. Dragons up now. So we've got a bit of vision come through from Team Siren. They're able to see what's going on. And it's going to be interesting because, look, if Zoe's got the vision to play around, she is a real threat to whoever she's up against.
Absolutely. And, with these lane swaps coming out, we can already see the Victor, with those 2 deaths, we don't want to keep trying. We don't want to stay in this lane. As take a look at Willy Wonka equalizing for that damage. A beautiful enchanted arrow just to stop any further effects, but we'll force Nicoya to back. Dragon is online and the Super Asian is starting.
We do have a focus from Team Siren. They're actually picking up the Rift Herald instead.
Wow, a beautiful trade. And they didn't forget the Herald. Even better.
And look, this is the beauty of them picking up that first dragon earlier, is they don't have to stress. They bought the time, so they've got a few extra minutes before we're even going to need to be talking about the soul point coming through.
Yeah, and, with these little roams from Willy Wonka here, they have been somewhat costly. Yes, he's gotten into these fights and he's helped out, but Mundo has picked up a little bit more CS. Shanman has finished that first item, as he is desperately looking to defend the tower, but forced to R defensively and just sprint away. The pullback from the Aatrox not going through. That will be a tower down, the bot tier 1 down. Shanman, but can heal up with that Warmogs.
Yeah. Now you might know.
The R goes through onto the Bard. He does get through the portal, and the slows are nice. Forced to flash from the Varus arrow.
I was going to say, does the 1 Ruby Crystal give Mundo enough bonus HP for the Warmogs passive? I thought it was need an extra giant spell.
I do think you did need an extra giant spell. To Shanman attempts to fight for that red buff. Probably should have given it though.
Either way, it doesn't appear like he's got enough health.
But take a look top side. There was a dive onto the mid laner here, onto the Arcane Herald, and they will be using another Herald. Potentially trade with no wave though, and the other team members backing. It's gonna take a little while to get this first tower for Team Siren.
And they got the second tier tower for Team CAPYBARA in their ball lane there, so there's that extra gold put onto the Rumble. Rumble got 2 items now. He's big online. He's gonna be doing a fuck ton of damage with that build at this point.
Yeah, and it's a really good team-based itemization there. Going that Bloodlet is going to be really good to allowing, even though the Victor decently far behind from these little kills here and there. The Victor is going to get a nice big chunk extra of damage because he's shredding with the Rumble Shred. And you combine that Shred with the Rumble E. There's not going to be much MR on the side of Team Siren.
No. And especially for their bottom side, I don't see Zoe building too much, and Ashe and Bard are probably not building any MR to start with. Unless we see maybe Witsend coming through for Ashe, but she's too poor at this stage to even really think about that.
The bubble landing on the Super Asian. The enchanted arrow hitting Nautilus as well. The Super Asian is low. Forced to flash out and but the Ignite Tick gets it. Willy Wonka in the fight, equalizing, taking down 2. Kiyose is forced to sprint away. The flash from Clown. He wants Kiyose. High ATAR plays. The arrow will miss. The bubble missing as well. It's a trade on both sides. Junglers, but also trading the bot laners as well.
Yeah, and even though the Super Asian is the super dead right here, the rest of the team just cleaned them up. And it just, they don't stand a chance.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. The Arcane Storm combined with that Equalizer is just so much damage. Although a solo kill went out onto Willy Wonka, and that's the man you want that gold on. A huge bounty going over to Kiyose. 5-0. That's going to be good.
And look, at this stage, the 2 leaders just battled it out, and Yose came out on top. Wonder if we're going to see a bit of tilt coming through from Willy Wonka.
And We were speaking about these Dark Seals. Kyose's got a full 10.
Ooh.
A full 10 on his stacks. He's gonna have a nice bit of AP as look at this. Not just a Horizon focus, but a Rod as well. Oh my word. That is gonna be devastating if a bubble lands for Team Capybara.
His Nautilus hooks are
just
just missing.
We can take a look at this mid kill here. A bubble must have landed onto Willy Wonka. And just a flash pickup. Getting it. That is exactly what you want. Exactly what you want.
As Zoe is notorious for doing that extra damage without actually hitting any spells. She's good at that.
Yeah. Where does she get it from? It always feels like enemy Zoe does so much. And then of course you get the Zoe support and
you got fucking Zoe at home and they can take away Zoe.
Yep, exactly. As take a look, Atakan spawning bot side. That flash used, but the enchanted arrow has gone on to Willy Wonka. And here's the combo of the team. The Bard, he's golden, equalizing himself here. The Zoe bubble. That's a kill on Willy Wonka. The Chains of Corruption going wild. And look at this. The Super Asian just sort of very mad, ulting in the pit for no reason. Who could understand why? But he might be forced to give Atakan another bubble. Landing. Krakov, half health. Kyoshi is going so much in these team fights. Here comes another Paddle Star, taking down a quarter of a health. Shanman frontlining exactly how he needs to be.
They're going to be really weak
here. Arrow missing, but the Dredge Line comes through, catches Nikoya. Shanman frontlining as well. The public execution directly onto the Super Asian who doesn't have ult. The Atakan going over to Team Siren. The fight continues. We've got Shanman still frontlining. Kyoshi takes down the Varus and another bubble lands onto the Victor. A third bubble has hit the Victor as it's a full team wipe with only the Nautilus surviving.
Can Kyoshi finish it off here? He's lost. He doesn't know where Nautilus is.
He's still hungry. Muchi, run! He's here. The exhaust is ready. They want it so badly.
Perfect.
Goes over to Shanman.
It was a bit touch and go, but we see Willy Wonka coming back up. He's angry. He might be tilted. He's just died twice in a row for maybe nothing.
Crazy team fight there, and I think the winner of all of that is the fact that they do pick up this Atakan. It was perfect micro, and there's so much zoning from that first Willy Wonka kill. What do you think about this team fight?
Oh my god! I mean, look at it. They really dive in, and I mean, Ash is a bit of a magnet for that. But on the flip side, they hit the stuns up, and the Bard gets a double Q onto the Super Asian and onto Nautilus, and it really saved the day for a while.
It certainly looked bad, especially at this point when they start pushing them in. But Kyoshi is allowed to just tempo to Super Asian down, the Victor down, and then they can collect one more. Dragon is up, and if they want to give it, they perfectly can. It's only the second, but they don't want to give it. The enchanted arrow. Oh my god, and the Bard are catching both of them. The public execution going through. Jupiter forced to flash away. Cleanse used as well. Clown is running, but Mundo isn't tanky enough. It's doing a lot on the Super Asian, who is drowsy. Nikoya going down as well. It's just Kyoshi and the Bard here. He does have flash, but not enough damage.
No.
Oh, a triple
it's
kill.
It's an absolute disaster for Team Siren.
Oh my god, it certainly looked good for a second. A perfect enchanted arrow from Nikoya hitting the Willy Wonka, and then we can get the follow-up from the Bard. But they just didn't have the damage yet. And unfortunately, that equalizer is doing so much. We don't really anticipate just how much shred. But you can see both teams, whoever loses this is out of the tournament. So we are going to need both teams to fight like their lives depend on it.
Yeah, and look, I mean, it was great work there from the Super Asian. He was able to zone off Kyoshi and also avoid taking a lot of damage. But then he just got that Aatrox healing. He heals from 10 HP to 4,000. I don't know what happened there, but they really clutched out. It was like he had 3 health bars. I thought he was playing Aatrox, not Rengar.
That Sundered Sky, isn't it crazy?
It is insane. Sundered Sky plus Aatrox is some massive healing, and he's got those super Merc treads now, so he's going to be taking a lot less damage.
On Drakov. He's got a lot of movement. The Barda is stopping the Super Asian, who's the Super Golden. The Enchanted Arrow. Willy Wonka is a magnet for it, and Kyoshi switches it right past that Nautilus, but can't get the Paddle Star in. They're forced to back off in this little choke point.
Yeah, and that's the sort of gameplay we probably want to be seeing from Team Siren. Is this slower, longer fights where they can play around multiple Zoe bubbles. Here we're going to see Kyose getting picked
Change of
out.
Corruption does land onto Kyose, forced to flash away. The Equalizer completely useless. They do cut off the choke point, but that's perfectly part of Kyose's plan. And yeah, I think these longer fights are wanted because look at Shanman, he still doesn't have his second item.
Yep.
We need more time to scale.
Yep.
Willy Wonka.
Oh, Willy Wonka might
Out a little bit here. With the briefcase landing, but Nicoya
found themselves in a bit of no man's land in the middle of 3 guys. Interesting Saturday night.
to Super Asian wants to go away. This TP perfect landing on the bubble from Kyose, and they will sleep the Nautilus, but the Nautilus is tanky. Muchi just dredge lining the wall and forced to flash out, but that sleepy time bubble goes a little bit wild. Drakov taking a decent amount of damage. This lethality build not tanky enough. The Arcane Storm plus the Varus Arrow enough to take down Drakov.
Yeah, and look, these the upgraded boots that they've got from picking up the feats is going to do a lot of work here, especially for the Aatrox with the Merc Treads. He's just got this magic shield that's really negating a lot of damage coming out of this Zoe. He's able to frontline and hold the line.
Yeah, as they do start this Baron, and it doesn't look like Team Siren Revive, but on Coke can even contest with the zoning effects of Willy Wonka. We're going to need a lucky arrow here or something, as the Naut once more going in and eating the enchanted arrow from Nicoya, going a little bit wide there. Willy Wonka has to back off and is forced to flash on both ends. Change of Corruption also going a little bit wide. Still can Zoe bubble through the wall, but won't, as they will get the Baron and a kill onto that Bard for nothing.
And this is what I was talking about earlier. I said if you're not hitting those sleeps on Zoe, you're really annoying, and you're still doing a lot of damage, but the sleeps is what you pick up the kills with. And unfortunately, Kyose's just missed one too many bubbles, and it's really been the differing factor for these fights, I think.
Yeah, it does play a role of a little bit of tech from the Super Asian there. You can see the jungler tech. I love when they smite double camp. But they really do.
That's why he's the super.
He is the super. We've seen some very good plays from him. He's reserved and he's power farm for a majority of this game, but he is online now. He's almost hit 16.
Muchi just running in.
Dredge line hits on Drakov again. Forced to Bard defensively. The public execution stunning the Super Asian, but Nicoya will be found with no cleanse. Those Change of Corruption. The Baron is going to allow this siege to do so much.
Yep.
They're going for this tower, potentially looking to end. If they lose here, Team Siren Revive, but on Coke is completely out of the game. They're going to need a good defense.
Yeah, look, I think Team Siren might have had a bad batch of Coke tonight, because they're not looking like they're on it. Unfortunately, I mean, and with the Baron picked up, we're seeing this XP difference. You know, we see the Super Asian up 2 levels on Drakov now, and you know, Victor's come through and he's only 1 level behind now, so he's back in the game considering how the rough start he had.
Yeah, certainly. I think as well a bit of a downfall of Drakov has been this Cyclo Sword first, and while it might be, you know, meta in some games, the win rate might be high on it. In terms of frontlining, you only really have this Mundo and this Ambessa, and we've seen this Ambessa's getting shredded very quickly, impeccably quickly, as they are going to be forced to give this dragon as well.
Yep. And look, I mean, we've even seen Clown's up 3 levels on Nicoya. He's got that 3 levels on, 1 level off that level 16 ultimate, and it's going to be a big difference in these fights too. He's going to be throwing out Chains of Corruptions left, right, and center, and those enchanted arrows they're not doing what they need to be doing this game.
Yeah, we've seen the power fantasy. We saw it in that Willy Wonka kill, where the enchanted arrow does land, the Bardar follows up, and then the whole team collapses. And when it does happen, it is beautiful. And it could happen. There's a chance that it could happen. Someone could be caught out here. Because look, Nicoya, while he doesn't have a huge amount of items, his main role right now is landing these arrows. And if he can do that, they do have a chance at this game. Absolutely.
Yeah, we are seeing that lack of damage as well. You know, we really are seeing all of the damage is coming from Kyose. You know, Nicoya's doing nothing, Shaman's doing nothing, Drakov's too behind to do anything. So they're really struggling, and Victor gets that benefit of being able to build Banshees as well. So even Kyose's not going to be able to really do too much to him, and it's just going to spell downfall.
Ooh, as the Change of Corruption does land on Kaios, who's forced to cleanse there. Picking up a little cleanse is very lucky.
Yes.
Equalizer coming out from Willy Wonka, but look how much damage that E is doing. The arrow from Varus, the Super Asian has the Super ulted. The Enchanted Arrow stopping them all under tower now with no minions. They will be taking tower aggro after this last mage minion falls, but it stays alive as well. Even without Baron, the siege, the push from Victor, very hard to interact with. The dredge line lands onto Bard. No
Massive.
chance to even reactive Bard. Look how big that Arcane Storm is. They want more. If they can end this game, they stay in the tournament. It lands on Drakov, who finds himself destroyed, blown up. Shanman forced to ult. They can take this in here for all it's worth.
Going back to bit of a cheeky flash there from Gyose, but he just did not do the damage he thought he might have been doing. Not enough to take down Willy Wonka.
Certainly had to attempt something here.
Yeah,
These desperation plays are in order for something to happen.
Yeah, exactly. One of the benefits to this lethality virus, he does get to pick up that Edge of Night. And look, we talked about Morgana earlier being a bit of a one-dimensional champion. Zoe can feel a little bit like that sometimes too. You know, you miss that bubble or you can't hit it. It makes your life so much harder, especially if you're behind. You know, if you're ahead and you miss the bubble, who cares, right? But if you're behind, you're not able to hit it on Victor, you're not able to hit it on Virus because they've got these spell shields. Your life just becomes so hard. And then all it takes is Nautilus to press R on you when you ult force to hit a Q, and you're dead. That's donezo.
Yeah, and we've seen some really interesting hooks from Muchi, and some misses, some hits, but this Nautilus playing such a good role and just tanking so much. A decent amount of this Kaiose damage has been tanked. Chains of Corruption isn't enough. Mundo passive goes where he pleases. He's going back to base.
Yeah,
safe at last.
Valiant effort.
Absolutely, and I think this Bard pick is just a little bit lacking in terms of team fights. We can get really good catch out with these ults, and there's a couple brilliant delays from good tunnels with this magical journey. But in terms of who's putting in a little bit more in these team fights, this Nautilus hooks and just general presence is doing so much, as we do get Team Halo here looking to try another Baron under their belts. Will Team SIREN want to contest? Very difficult to.
It doesn't look like they really even have opportunity. And the beauty of having Nautilus and Victor and Virus and their whole team just has so much zoning. Whether it's those three or it's the Equalizer comes from Rumble, it's so hard to even get here. Is that Nautilus hook?
Lands it on the Bard, and they are taking this magical journey. Can afford to, as they're so tanky. Change of Corruption going a little bit wide on Kaiose there, but worth a shot. We do have ults up on both teams here, at least in terms of this Enchanted Arrow. And the time to fight, to take a risky fight, I guess would be now, as they will slow choke out for this inhib.
Yep,
The
they do it now,
is available.
or they're on soul point.
Under passive,
Infernal Soul's up.
Pushed in at the Nexus turret. It could be going home for Team SIREN. They need to defend here, or this is their final game in the tournament. The Varus Arrow missing, but the Victor, Hextech Ray, the Equalizer going out from Willy Wonka, zoning this first Nexus turret off. The stun does land, but look how low they are. This Arcane Storm, Willy Wonka, the Super Flash does land it. Nicoya, you need to run. It's not going to be enough. It's a Nexus turret down. And that will be the first game of the day.
That's all she wrote.
The Team Capybara, Team SIREN out of the tournament. Wow. Dodd, what did you think? What did you think of a game like that?
It was a banger. It was kind of how we predicted, though, to be honest. Unfortunately, it was play-by-play as the script. You know, it's not scripted, I don't think, but it was like it was. You know, Kaiose getting ahead in that mid lane, but the other lane's just not able to hold that. And really, it just was the dominance coming through from Willy Wonka, really just putting the foot on Mundo's throat. And even bot lane with Clown, you know, coming up and picking up a few extra early kills, it made it so hard for Team SIREN.
Yeah, it did make it hard. I'll say, like, with genuine belief. Up until the Atacon, and after that Atacon, Team Siren held their own. Like, while there was a little bit of disparity top lane, while it was rough, I mean, that Rumble pick is just so useful into Mundo. What can you do? But after that Atakan fight, it did look good. It looked really good. They did pick up Drekov, getting that Atakan, locking that in, Kaiose turning that fight well. It was just a matter of that second fight around that dragon where it turned slightly wrong in the favor without getting that Willy Wonka pick first. It's so hard to play because of the lead he had gained, but it was a close game and such a fun one nonetheless. But it is with a devastating heart that we do have to say goodbye to Team Siren, who played valiantly. The tier 4 players, it was a brilliant view, and hopefully maybe next year tier 4 will represent themselves once again. But for now, well done, as we will go to a short break, but stay tuned as we get another elimination game very shortly.